precision satin. One love will turn your skin. The lover's right. Let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. And it's worse you for what I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. Well, lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. You say that you are innocent, but your ways, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. Oh, you have reached your lover's end. No more will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. 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 Just remember what your father did. Never the one to believe in hostilities, but you still force the worst upon me, upon me. All you wanted was love, but that was never enough. Never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I remembered what you'd say. We're all looking to be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy. To be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Until then, we'll all be yours.
Good evening, race fans, and it's been a little hiatus. A lot of stuff going on here at Urban Pirates House. It's been very busy. It's been busy, not Disney. It's been very busy. Mrs. falling over, breaking her arm, all sorts of craziness happening. But we found some time, and we're back for some GR3 action this evening at Lago Maggiore. And the west side is a small, tiny part of Lago Maggiore. But we're back for round 3 of the Black Flag Open GR3. Season 3, round 3. And yeah, about 2 minutes till quali. Didn't have time to put the standings up for you, but I will read them off for you because I'm that kind of guy. VR46 currently leads away 2 wins from 2, 50 points, top of the tree. But by the end of today, that will be no more. He's gone to take his wife to go and watch a little man tell jokes. And no, it's not TJ, he's gone to see Kevin Hart. Macho, Monkey Man Macho Man. There he is in second, 54 points. Very good opportunity for him to take the lead in this championship here in round number 3. Wendigo in a very good position himself as well, 38 points, just outside or just inside that top 3. Wiggy 32 points in the BMW. Arminis in 5th place, 28. Fubar and GMAC share the spoils on 20 points, but with no GMAC today, Fubar can open that gap on Gary McIntosh. I don't even know that. I don't even think that's his name. Paz Kozas in the Porsche, 18 points. Avalon just behind him on 14. They're both in the room today. Looking forward to that. And then we've got Pleasure Craft in 10th, joint with PM10 Racing, who's had to pull out of the tournament, both on 12 points. And then some others outside the top 10. I'm not going to reel them all off. We know the shit. Yeah, smash the light, but smash it. Smash it to smithereens. So it's broken. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Really looking forward to that today. Who we got? Who is in the room? So we've got Monkey Man Macho. Very good opportunity for him or for Wendigo there. There he is at the top of the pole there to take the lead in this championship. Just waiting for a Bandit to join us. That'll make it a full 11. Roses is our host this evening, and thank you very much for stepping up and doing that job. It's gonna be interesting because you've got Wendigo's really fast in that Huracan GT3. We know that Roses is always capable of a result or two. Monkey Man Macho, you can never count him out of anything. He's always going to be super quick. Wiggy, very solid driver in that BMW. You never know when he's going to pop up with a result. And Avalon as well. He's been out of form since he got back from holiday and since the update has changed the physics a little bit of the car. That doesn't mean that he's completely out of this though, because we know how good he is with tyres and fuel, and we know that there is a result just waiting around the corner for him, and that should be hopefully this season. Pascoe, that's always capable of a good result, and Fubar, he likes to float just outside that top 3. Who's to say that he's not going to smash his way in there and upset the apple cart a little bit? And then we've got Arminis, who's putting some great strategies in this and the GR4 season so far, and been mixing it up in and amongst the big boys. Shady joins us for another Lithuanian driver. Joins us for this first one here. Bandit needs to get his livery. He didn't really need to do that when we're already running late. He could have just run in the car. I'm not going to fine him 50 points for running the wrong livery. I would literally just character assassinate him for an hour. That's all. What's coming up? I'll tell you what's coming up. It's a busy week. That's what it is indeed. So we've got the usual smoking parades, and tomorrow we've got a little training session for something which is not going to be broadcast. Friday we are live back with Eurotrips F1. But Saturday is when it all kicks off. That Friday night it all starts, and I'm not with Eurotrips, I lied. There is a 24-hour charity event for BCGT, and it's raising money for Shall I just smash myself in the face and learn to speak again? Young Lives versus Cancer. Trying to raise some money for what is an awesome cause. Really, really good cause. And it's, when I say 24 hours, it's not a simulated 24 hours like the rubbishy stuff that we did. It's an actual 24 hours of racing. There will be as much footage as we can possibly handle here on Black Flag Racing TV. Now, it might be that a portion of that footage isn't commentated upon. It may be that it's just broadcast with some soothing music in the background, maybe. But I will try and commentate as much as I possibly can over that 24-hour period. I mean, let's be fair. Man's got to sleep and shit and eat. So yeah, we'll see. We're going to try and drag in some special guests along the way. But I'm going to sort out details with the guys later. So if you are watching, I'll hit you up after this, and we'll have a little chat and see what we can sort out on that. You are indeed on TV, Harmonious. You're correct, Mama. I'm on TV. Yeah. Moving on from that, obviously we've got GTFusion this weekend. Awesome little car, awesome little track. Really looking forward to that. It's a Alfa Romeo combo. I've got a few drivers obviously competing in that. Don't know what group I'm doing yet, but if last week is anything to go by, I'm doing at least one of the groups on the Saturday, one group on the Sunday, and then we've got, of course, GT Champions. Can't forget the GT Champions, which is in the early hours of the morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, followed by the return of the WSR Porsche Cup this weekend. It's been interesting the last couple of events. We had an absolute crash fest where only 2.5 laps got driven a couple of weeks ago. Then last time out it was Arco Potter and the disappearing Cayman, and all of the shenanigans that went on with that. It can only get better. That's all I can say about the WSR Porsche Cup, and that's this Sunday from 8 o'clock-ish UK time, something like that. Anyway, and then of course we're back to the usual programming from next week, for which I will be much more present now that work has well, not slowed down, but it is become a much more manageable bite-size amount. Back to a normal amount of work, not the crazy amount that I had previously. Right, anyway, we are moving into qualifying, so without further ado, we will jump across to qualifying. Very, very short track. We'll go on board with... Here we go on board with our host of roses. There we go, that's the one we want in the Hyper car. So you can see it's not, as it's Lego Maggiore, it's not the main Lego Maggiore, the big long Lego Maggiore track. It's one of the shortened, and it's in reverse as well, which makes it quite an interesting racetrack this way around actually. And I actually prefer this connotation than I do to the others, particularly this corner. This corner is a lot more fun this way round than it is the other, and it's a very different corner as well. You have to really think about your exit, whereas the other way around, your exit's not as important as your entry. And then you've got this really fast section where essentially you can flat out to the left, to the right here, again to the left, and then you've got to be really careful here, because this is a tricky corner. You've really got to get slowed down well for. And again here, this one switches back on itself. You've got to be patient on the power, because you're straight away into this right-hander, which takes you back to the start-finish line, and up the hill you must go. And there you go, this is where the lap begins. This is obviously the end of Lego Maggiore as you would normally expect to see it, but again it's a really tricky corner for turn one here. Then you head into this section, which is slightly different of course, because it's a different layout. Sweeping round to the left hand side, two of them, get both of these apexes, and you've got some good power heading down. Sorry for that, it's going off crazy in the background. Right, so anyway, here we go. First opportunity for people to set some quality laps for us. That's the view I want. Okay, so Rose is in that GTR. He's heading us out. We've got Wendigo. He's in the Lamborghini Huracan. And he's been very quick this season, to be fair. And one thing I will say, he did have some really strange tactics a couple of races ago where he was pitting. I think it was actually at Grand Valley where he was pitting an awful lot more than seemed right for that track, and it definitely cost him some places. Wonder whether that's a strategy he tried and has decided not to continue with. Personally, I don't think it was the greatest of decisions, but everyone has their plan. So Rose is initially on pole. Does he stay there for the time being? Yes, he does. A 1:22.3 from him. Wendigo with a 1:23.0. That's Shady with a 23.2, just 2/10 slower than Wendigo. As Wiggy in that BMW puts himself firmly in second on that front row with Bite the Roses, and that's the BMW we'll be using in the upcoming 12 Hours of Monza event for the ERF, which is in just a week's time. And looking forward to that. And I will be sorting out anyone that's wondering, I will be sorting out the groups for that over this coming week, so you guys can get practicing. And I apologise that working life has got in the way somewhat. Moving down the order, back of the pack, that's Bender. He hasn't put time in yet. Monkey Man Macho on his hot lap as we speak. Arminis has done a 1:30.1. As Fubar puts himself onto row 2, firmly into third place. Very, very sideways. Does get that back under control though. 1:22.9 for Fubar. Ferlantis. Quicker than Wendigo actually, which is interesting. Monkey Man Macho, that's his first hot lap. That's good enough for 7th for the 23.2 in the Jaguar. Avalon just a little bit quicker, 23.2 also, but 22.18. 2 thousandths of a second between him and Monkey Man, and 7 thousandths of a second between him and Shady. That's very, very close between those three. Pleasurecraft, he is just 400ths slower in the Mustang in 9th place. Paz Kozas, he's done a 29.6 in that Porsche 911 RSR, which is not quite the dominant car that it used to be, thank goodness. And as we say that, Paz Kozas in that car that's not as dominant puts himself on the second row. Wendigo jumps up to row number 1 alongside Bite the Roses, just 2/10 of a second separate them two. Back of the pack. Who's at the back of the pack? I'll tell you right now. Bandit, still not set a lap yet. He's obviously tweaking something in his settings. Monkey Man Macho definitely looking to improve on that 23.2, and will need to do so if he wants to take this opportunity to steal the lead of this championship from VR46 while he is out at doing something other than racing with us, which is an absolute travesty, I tell you. Monkey Man Macho comes in 6th position. Bite the Roses not been able to improve. Did improve his first hot lap on his second, but hasn't been able to improve since then, carrying a penalty. He's not going to do it this time. And as he's not improving, Wendigo is. He's gone 22.0. That's just 0.3 of a second, 0.03 of a second slower than Bite the Roses. And Wiggy back up into row 2, just 0.3 off Wendigo's time. Good evening, Jay. How are you? It's been a while. We do need to catch up at some point this week. It might not be to the weekend though, but is what it is. Paz Kozas, he is just behind Wiggy and on row 2 in 4th place in that 911. I'm talking of 911s. There he is, Patrick in that the black flag liveried. That's our team race livery. That's just 9 hundredths of a second difference between him and Paz Kozas. Be interesting to see the battle between them two actually, because Avalon's equally quick. I think the pair of them are very, very quick drivers. But Avalon, I think, that just has the edge on that kind of tyre and fuel saving that he's so famous for. Often, actually, at the detriment of pace. There have been 1 or 2 races where tyre and fuel saving was really not necessary, but he just does it because that's what Patrick does. Pleasurecraft, That's my missus' name for my Willie, and currently running in 7th. Of course, in my house, he's always number 1. Boom Shanghai, he's back, baby. 2.5 tenths behind Avalon, and 2 tenths. I was going to say 2 tenths to Arminis, but Arminis has cut that gap significantly. That is just 9 hundredths of a second between him and Pleasurecraft. There he is, and he's running in that McLaren 650S. Fubar in 9th. He's also in that Huracan. At the moment, he can't get past Arminis Bumshanka. But it is really close between those guys. There's only 900 between Pleasurecraft and Arminis, and 800 between Arminis and Fubar Ferrantes. There he comes, getting some lovely slipstream from that Porsche 911 just ahead of him. Monkey Man Macho, 22.2 for him, puts him on that second row, and puts him not too far off the back of his countryman Wendigo. And Monkey Man Macho, just want to mention, he's doing very well in the GT Champions. He's not the only one on Continue Racing GT Champions, but currently, along with Kaizan, we have 2 drivers now rocking it in the top 5 in Division 2, and potentially going to bring. How amazing would it be if Black Flag brought home the 1-2 in Division 2? Absolutely smashing it. Look, there's some great drivers there. It's going to be a tall order. It's going to be a difficult task, but certainly up to it, and certainly some great pace in that car with that driver. Wiggy has disconnected. That's unusual for him. He didn't usually have disconnection problems. Hopefully he can get back for the race. It will obviously affect him qualifying wise, because he won't be his qualifying time won't register because he left the room, which is stupid, but it is what it is, of course. I do hope he can get back in and get racing. He's not too far outside a chance of a top 3 in this championship, so he'll want to race every possible opportunity, particularly when the current championship leader is not here to continue his charge at the top of the leaderboard. So that changes things somewhat. By the Rose is still on pole. He has improved his time, 21.8. So as those going quicker than him, going behind him, get quicker, he just steps up a little bit and goes quicker still with a 21.666, the number of the Roses. Wendigo is currently still on row 2. He hasn't been able to get sub 22 all day. Roses has done 2 sub 22 laps now, with 21.8 and 21.666. Monkey Man Macho, 22.2 is the best he's had thus far. Getting a little bit wobbly in that Jaguar. Wonder what's going to happen to the car performances after tomorrow's update. We know there's going to be a new AMG GT3. Now, the ones we have already are very good cars. There's no two ways about it, particularly the GT3 version of that AMG. Very good car. Jay, I haven't forgotten. Absolutely haven't forgotten that you are laying 3rd in Division 5 at the moment, and I still think you're a really good bet to take that title. Definitely something worth considering. Is that we do have in 2 divisions, we've got 2 drivers inside the top 5. So as Jay he didn't remind me, I did know. He's currently running 3rd in Division 5 with Highwire, currently a couple of places behind him in 5th. So everyone's doing well good in it. Right, so 10 minutes of qualifying done. Where does that leave us? That leaves us with this man, By the Roses, with a 21 number of the beast. Puts him on pole position, 3, nearly 4 tenths clear of the next fastest man on the racetrack in the Lamborghini Huracan. He hurried and he hurried up, and he got himself on that front row, and it's Wendigo with a 1:22.049 on the front row with By the Roses. Row 2, Monkey Man Macho and Paz Kozas, 2 Lithuanian drivers side by side, holding hands, skipping through the breeze. Just behind Pasco's, I see that 911 is another 911 with Avalon, and he's got Fubar Finances for company. We've got really, really good battle potentially on our hands there. Pleasure Craft and Arminus side by side on row number 4. Shady and Bandit on row 5, and it doesn't look like Wiggy's come back. So disappointed for Wiggy. I don't know what happened to him. I wonder if there's anything on Discord that suggests what happened. Oh, his game just froze. Hopefully he gets back in before the race begins. Fingers crossed, folks. Fingers crossed. It will take longer, obviously, for the clock to tick down because of that, which is always an added bonus, of course. It gives you that little bit more time to get logged in and done and dusted. Yeah, baby, he's back. Now, does that register? It won't do, will it? It hasn't registered his qualifying. I couldn't bloody word qualifying time. So he will, although he ticked it, he'll be qualified in last position. Right, there we go. Don't know why Bob putting that back up because he's got that stupid cover over there. Love you very much, PD, for all the things you do for us. But why doesn't this screen have to be this? Why can't it be the same size? Why not take the picture of the car out and just put the time in? Why has he cancelled the race? Hope we can survive. Survive what? Oh, I think the room's being set by host. So that Wiggy can get his race on. So Monkey Man Match and Pleasant Craft having some banter in the chat. Obviously they know each other from from the Lithuanian community. So we're looking forward to seeing if they've got some sort of we're driving cruise ships. I suppose that's true. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it makes sense to say it by hosting. Then Wiggy can be kind of slotted in where necessary. But Pole will be with Bart the Roses. Fantastic time from him, to be fair. Only driver that managed to go sub 1:22, and some great times though from the drivers around here. Not too far off the pace, and I think it is going to be a case of keeping the car away. Consistency is going to be important. Your pit strategy going to be ultra important as well. Remember, they do have to use 2 compounds of tyre. Any 2 compounds, of course. It's times 3 on the tyre wear, times fuel on the times 3 on both fuel and tyres. I think 2 compounds got to be used, and they start with just half a tank of fuel. So management in that first stint very important. Every week, same melody you don't know. What melody is that then? I think you should sing it for us. Sing it loud, and then we'll play it next week for everybody. Right, what are we waiting for? Let's get cracking. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. Let's get ready to rumble. Thank you very much, Alan Deck. You can give me a share of your royalties from that piece of shit song that's now stuck in my fucking head. Another bank holiday coming up, not this weekend, next weekend. Extra day in bed, people. Make the most of it. Race on Gran Turismo. There we go, PD. I've done the plug-in as necessary, and now you should send me a big pile of goodies. Talking of goodies, I ordered some Black Flag Racing Team and Racing TV merch, which arrived today, and I've got to say, it's pretty good quality actually. It's better than I expected. Usually that stuff tends to be quite ropey in terms of quality, but actually really, really cool. All I will say is that don't pay too much mind to the sizes on there and go bigger and then go bigger again, because some of the stuff has come out a lot smaller than expected. Yeah, I went bigger because I thought it might be worth it. But actually, some of the stuff that's supposed to be the same size are slightly different in size here. So err on the side of caution and go bigger. Have we got two bank? We ain't got two bank holidays, have we? Not this week and next week, is it? I thought it was just next week. I get well confused with all that shit, Jay. What else did you get? I'll tell you what you do want to get though. If you don't get any clothes, get fridge magnets. The fridge magnets are really, really awesome. And they're better than the ones that people have bought me from holidays. He's currently sitting on my fridge in Pride Place. I'll post a picture on Discord later. And I've got some stickers as well, which are now all over my lovely computer that you guys bought for me. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's awesome stuff. But my favourite is actually I've got a hoodie. And yeah, it's really, really cool. Anyway, enough waffling and trying to plug merch. Let's get on with some freaking racing, shall we? So, game on. You know the score. Into turn one we go. Be careful, people. Don't drive like a knob. So, who goes? That's 3. That's 4. That's 5 lights. Last light goes out. And away we go. Good start from Rosie. Good start from Monkey Man. Monkey Man up into the lead of this race. Great start from him. Into turn one they go. And it looks like we're through. Nice and clean. Lovely jubbly jubbly. Can we get a look? I think I've left it too long. But we'll try and have a little go. No. For some reason the replay is not working for me, for whatever reason that may be. Yeah, maybe it is 2 weeks of bank holidays, Jay. To be honest, I don't even look at the calendar in the kitchen when I go and open my fridge, mate, and often forget I've got shit to do. I set alarms for literally everything. So, Monkey Man Macho takes the lead of this race from the outset. Really, really good start from him. By the way, he's dropping down to second. Wendigo holds firm in third, but he's got Paz Kozats for company. Very, very close company. Tucked right in behind, trying to find a way past that Huracan early on. Excuse me. Pleasurecraft running in 5th position. He's 6/10 back from Paz Kozats already. And he's got Fubar trying to spoil that party for him. Yeah, it was a very, very good turn one. Do you know what the difference is? It's respect. It's respect and realisation that a race lasts an hour, and not the thinking that you go to turn one and you should absolutely melt each other. I will say that yesterday I did 2 daily races. And I love Le Mans, so when it's on I try and get a couple of races in. Was that a little touch there from Avalon on Fubar, and just as he re-enters the track and loses control, he gets clipped by Arminis, and around and around and around and around he goes. And he's dropped right back. That's some damage on him as well. That's now, what was that? The back end stepping out, or was that a little touch from Avalon as he came through? My replay's not, as I said, my replay's not working, so I couldn't even go back and check it. But that puts Arminis will have a little bit of damage because he clipped him as he was coming back on the track. That wasn't an unsafe return. He kind of bounced back on the track, and then it all went horribly, horribly wrong. There is Bandit running in 10th place, already flashing his hazard lights for whatever reason that was. Arminis is in 9th. That damage should come off pretty soon. Wiggy down already in 8th position in the BMW, but he tends to have a very he's kind of slow and steady wins the race, Wiggy. You won't see him disappearing off into the distance very often. Quite often you'll see him kind of just knocking about just outside that sort of top 5, top 6, and just plodding along and saving his fuel, saving his tyres, and then you'll see him go hammer time later on in the race. There's Shady, of course, sporting the Splash LT logo. It looks like a really, really cool wakeboarding park in Lithuania. Check it out. There's free advertising for you, mate. Avalon, there he is. There's a little question mark as to whether he clipped Fubar. We'll have to, I suppose that'll have to get looked at after the race, if necessary. Pleasurecraft, otherwise known as my penis, which is also gold and like a horse. Goes a little bit squirrely on the grass, but doesn't lose too much time, although Avalon is a little closer to him now. Monkey Man Macho still in the lead, Paz Kozats still in 4th, and By the Roses Wendigo sandwiched between those two in 3rd and second respectively. Tyres, shall we have a little looky-see? There we have it. So, Monkey Man Macho starting on the soft compound tyres, as is a Bite the Roses. Wendigo also on the softs, Paz Kozas on the soft, Pleasurecraft, Avalon on the softs, Shady starting on the medium compound tyres. Now bear in mind, you use the mediums now and you stay in this. You don't have to use anything other than the softs for the rest of this race, so it will give you a slight advantage. Wiggy also opting for those medium compound tyres in this first stint in that BMW. Arminus also on those medium compound tyres. Will he do an Arminus special, which is pit crazy early, and then end up finding himself 5 or 6 or 7 positions further up when everybody else finally goes in? Who knows? Bendit going very slowly. What's going on with Bendit? Looks like he's had a little crash. I don't know. I don't think my soundboard's working. Is it working? Let's have a look. Let's press some buttons and see what happens.
I crashed. You crashed? How are you coming fast?
I think that's a foregone conclusion. It's actually working. Awesome. I did have time to switch everything over, so I'm glad that's working. So there he is, Bandit. He did indeed crash. Fubar, 27 seconds at the back of the pack. Lost so much time in what looked like an incident with Patrick. It's very difficult to cast judgment because, number one, we don't know if it's a coding issue. There have been significant coding issues since the last update, which I think over the particularly last couple of weeks, have been getting progressively worse. Now, I've got a theory, okay? My theory is this, is that if there is a bug that prior in the week or so prior to a new update, that PD will accentuate that bug or allow that bug to get worse, shall we say. And then what you'll find is that when they bring the new update and the bug's fixed, everyone seems a lot happier that the bug's been fixed, but actually what they did is it just made it worse to make it look like they've got much better, when actually it's not the case. I could be wrong, but what a way to generate loyalty in that, look what we fixed for you, something that we broke ourselves in the first fucking place. It's basically the equivalent of the Mafia turning up and smashing your windows in and telling you you've got to pay protection. Monkey Man Macho, he got into the leaders race, but he hasn't got it all his own way because By the Roses is on him, and he is on him hard. And I tell you what, this is going to be a really exciting race. Now, I don't know what's going. None of my cameras work. Just the keyboard for those, but the cameras don't work and the replays don't work, which is stupid. So fix that as well, please. Polyphony. There we go. There's the view from Roses as he tries to chase down Monkey Man Macho and find his way back into the lead of this race. He does have the fastest lap of the race. They are both on the racing soft tyres. He got a really good run out of turn 1, but no way through for him at this stage. Monkey Man Macho a little bit laggy out there in front of him. A little bit. I don't know. Look, there's clearly something going on server-wise lately, because we're having these individual little issues. Look, your own internet, of course, it plays a part in it, but I think overall there is just a bit of a problem in the lobbies in general, and I don't know what the answer is. Short of doing what Just Oil do and then gluing ourselves to a Sony employee or something equally fucktardery, what do we do? I mean, no one's going to boycott the game. We've got nothing better to do, have we? Let's face it. That's why we do what we do, because we love it and we can't think of anything we'd rather be doing. So we're not going to boycott the game. But yeah, that's a bit horrible. That is what it is, though. Is what it is. So Monkey Man Macho still leads as we start lap number 7. We're at Lago Maggiore. This is Lago Maggiore West in reverse. We've got 11 runners this evening. Monkey Man Macho lead from Bite the Roses. Good evening, Paul. How the bloody hell are you, friend? Pasco's running in 3rd. Starting to put a gap away from Wendigo now in that Lamborghini Huracan. Pleasurecraft He's got significant problems behind him, and those problems are Avalon shaped. Look at this, he's right in there looking for a way through. Now we know that Avalon won't make any silly little dives. He'll wait. And who's that? Is that Fubar? Parked at the side of the road. What happened there? Looks like Fubar's had some sort of problem because he's parked at the side of the road. Has he got some sort of equipment failure? Because that looks to me like that's not somewhere that you would ordinarily park unless you had a problem. And it looks like he might have some sort of equipment failure right there at the side of the road. It looks like he is trying to move. Right, he is away, but he's a lap down now on badness, so hopefully he's got that problem sorted out. Who knows what caused that? An engineer I am not. By the Roses has made his way around Monkey Man Macho and taken the lead of this race. And look how close the top three are running. Bite the Roses, Monkey Man Macho and Paz Kozas just 1.7 seconds behind those two front runners. But Bite the Roses has managed to retake the lead here on lap 8 at Lago Maggiore. I think he took the lead at lap 7 and held it out there. Pit window. Now Roses probably looking somewhere around lap 13, lap 14. We'll start seeing some of these cars dive in. Paz Kozas, who pushed really hard on that 911, has not been kind to his fuel, as you can see there. Wendigo as well really pushed hard on that fuel. Avalon surprisingly has less fuel than you would expect, considering there are cars out there that have used they've been pushing equally hard but have used significantly less. So that's quite interesting. Is this a problem now that we have with this Porsche 911 RSR? Who knows? There is Wiggy running up into 6th. He's ahead of Shady. He's not the real Slim Shady. He's really fat Shady. I'm joking. He's not. I don't know if he's fat or thin. I can't just start shouting at people that are fatties. I suppose I can because I'm fat. Fat people have got other people fat. It's like only a gay guy can call another gay a fat. Allegedly. And before you start writing, I don't give a fuck what you think about me saying the word. I've said it now. Done. Wendigo, he's the first to blink. He's in early, so it's time for the pit window. Let's pull it up. Why not? So he's into the pits. He is quite early in, actually. Probably could have come in a lap later, but maybe he's looking at this kind of long sort of middle stint, undercut styly. See if he can gain himself a place or two when those around dive in. I'm sure if you're watching this you understand the principle of an undercut and what it all involves, but I'm going to insult your intelligence by telling you what it is anyway. Oh, Monkey Man Macho! Oh, he's had a problem. He's hit the wall, and I'm sorry, my friend.
You can't park that there, mate.
And he's left some of this all over the track. Yeah, all over the track, loads of bits of carbo fibre. So, bit of work for him to do, but now that work is going to be made significantly harder because he's got 8.9 seconds now behind Paz Kozas. It's given By the Roses a nice little cushion out front, hasn't it? Avalon 1.2 behind and closing. Wiggy just 8/10 behind and closing on the pair of them. This could be a really big change in the top of the table for Monkey Man Macho, particularly with so Shady dropping into the pits there. Wendigo pitting early, and I wasn't going to explain the undercut, but essentially it's where you go into the pits before your opponent, and the whole idea is that you go in order to maximise your track time when they're going in. So use the time in between your pit and their pit to really close down the gap between you, and hopefully with a little bit of luck you can make it through the legs. You pop out in front of them, or at least gain some time on them overall for what is known as the undercut. Obviously the overcut is the complete opposite. You stay out longer and then jump in later than them. But we'll soon find out what is the better strategy. Not really a good gauge to gauge it on Monkey Man Macho though, because he's had a problem. Big problem. He is back up to speed now, and obviously with light damage the car is repaired-ish. excuse me. I ate my, because I got in so late, I ate my dinner fast, and it's repeating on me a little bit. Right, Bart the Roses leads away 3.6 seconds now as Paz Kozas dives into the pits at the end of lap 10. I said, what did I say, lap 12, 13, 14? I lied. Lap 10, 11. Clearly, is the pit window. Monkey Man Macho is in. Avalon is in really early for Avalon. Changing tactics for Patrick, maybe. Interesting. There's Wiggy. Wiggy running in second position. He's 15 seconds behind Bart the Roses. But he's staying out for another, at least one lap. Possibly two. Who knows? Roses as well. Very similar on fuel, as you can see. So very possible that he could be staying out a little bit longer as well. So it is Roses from Star Groups. Armin is up to third. He's got a pit. Soon he's 12.2 seconds back. Wendigo pit early. Look where he is. Now he's ahead of Paz Kozas. He's ahead of Avalon. He's ahead of Monkey Man Macho. That is more to do with Monkey Man Macho putting some carve fire all over the racetrack after crashing. But it's certainly giving him some inroads, I think. Because we look now, he's 39 seconds behind Roses. He's he didn't put a lot of fuel on board. Again, he's gone for this really odd strategy of really underfueling the car. And I'm not entirely sure it's the smartest move. It didn't seem to work out for him in the race at Grand Valley Highway. And look, I'd love to see it. Well, I don't understand the thought process. You know, obviously you don't want to be in the pits for any longer than you have to be. Without question, you don't want to be in there for any longer than you have to be. But by the same token as well, you don't want to have to pit more often than you need to either. And surely by not fueling the car properly, yeah, you're going to have a nice light car and you can go a little bit racy and give it some beans and all that. But, you know, eventually something's got to give. Something's got to give somewhere. And I think that was Fubar again at the side of the road as everyone streams through. It looks to me that he's got some sort of technical issue that's hampering his race this evening. Now, was there a technical issue involved with that? What seemed to be the incident early on when he lost his car and he collected Arminis in that process? Was that a technical failure then as well? It looks like it very well may have been. But the Roses comes back out. He's 4.9 seconds clear. Wendigo has jumped up into second place. Look, I would say the undercut has been successful in the fact that he has gained the place and he's actually gained significant gap over Paz Kozas. The problem is he's only got a quarter of a tank of fuel. He hasn't put a lot of fuel in at all. Roses behind him, 3/4 of a tank. Paz Kozas behind them. He's on medium tyres with a full tank of fuel. That boy can run a long way into this race. Possibly even go to the end without stopping again. That's something that needs to be considered. Look, you know, Paz Kozas is going to certainly need to have some pace on those medium tyres for it really to be worthwhile. But if you're pitting 3 times, the guy behind you's pitting once. It doesn't matter how light your car is and how fast you are. That guy's got an advantage over you because you haven't spent over a minute staying still. That's the key thing. Is that, you know, while you are in the pits, you're staying still. And is it better to stay still for one longer period of time, or to suffer the pain of the in and the out of the pits as well, which costs you time? Who knows? Avalon up to 4th places on the medium compound tyres. Didn't put a huge amount of fuel in himself, just under half a tank. He's got Monkey Man Macho looking to make big moves forward. He's on those soft compound tyres again. Was that his original strategy? Who knows? It's very difficult to, as he goes wide, manages somehow to not die. That was very good. But there is a yellow flag ahead, and that yellow flag is for whom? Fubar. Yeah, there's definitely some sort of technical issue going on there for Fubar because he is stopped. Or is he doing it to let people through because he's got a problem? If you've got that big a technical issue, mate, there isn't an issue with you quitting the road. I don't know whether there is a technical issue or he's just letting people through because his race is done and kind of seeing it out. But Fubar, if you can hear me, mate, if you have got a technical problem that's causing these issues, then it's not a rage quit, mate. Although I can see that you're trying to stay in it for points. Quite some way back is the problem, of course. Is that is he going into retire? I think he might be. There's clearly something going on there. Right, anyway, Bart the Rose is 6.6 seconds clear of Wendigo. Some good solid points for him. No VR46 today, of course, which means no extension for him at the top of the leaderboard. In fact, he's going to lose that number 1 spot. Look, so we're only 3 races in, still plenty of races to go. But you always, if you're going into a race in the lead of the championship, is always a much better place to be than anywhere else on the leaderboard, simply because it's in your hands, and you're not relying on other results around you to decide your fate. It's completely down to you, and that's the way you kind of want it to be. As we see, Bart the Rose is putting in yet another purple lap with a 1:21.9. Stop fucking showing off, you bellend. Wendigo leads the rest. He's in second place. He's in that Huracan, and he Huracan make it go fast. And you can Huracan make it go very fast. He settled into a rhythm sort of 23.2 race pace, but he significantly underfueled the car at the last pit stop in an inexplicable decision. Your guess is as good as mine. I would just be speculating at this point as to why he does it, because the thing is, it's not showing any significant increase in pace or reduction in lap time to justify being quite so light. It's not chucking in times that make your head wobble, that make you think, oh my god, where did that come from? When the car is that light. So you have to wonder what the strategy is to put so little fuel in. Paz Kozak's running in third place, 6.4 seconds back in that third place, trying to find some battles down the order. We've got one there, Pleasurecraft and Wiggy, just half a second between them. Can Wiggy get that BMW not only up behind Pleasurecraft, but sliding past him like a smooth cashmere codpiece? At the moment it's looking pretty good, being that he's on the medium tyres, and Wiggy's also on those mediums. So what, did Wiggy stay on medium tyres? Because Wiggy started on medium tyres, so he went back onto the medium tyres. Clearly he feels that is the more viable strategy than to switch to the softs. Or maybe it is that the softs just are not taking the abrasion as much as people would like, and and the difference you make in terms of making time up just isn't worth it. So it's better to be on those medium tyres, and you can stay out for longer and obviously pit for less, which is the key. You want to spend as less time stationary as possible for the fewest amount of times. Someone just let the dog out. The dog went mental. Arminis is running in 9th position in that brilliant McLaren 650S. It is a gorgeous looking car, not just with that livery in general, but just in general, it's a gorgeous looking car. Bendit has a little problem.
You can't park that there, mate.
And he's on the grass, facing in the wrong direction. Fubar has stopped in the pits. Hope he solves whatever problem he was having. It looked to me clear there was some sort of technical issue, but who knows what. Bendit is back on the track, or back on track, depends how you want to look at it. Alright, Wendigo into the pits, out he comes. Oh, he's picked up that dreaded 3-second pit line penalty. He's out in 8th, and again he's only put in a little splashy of fuel. Seriously, dude, you got to tell me why you go so low on fuel rather than stay out longer and pit less, because when you're on your second pit stop, we're not even halfway through this race, and this race can be done potentially in a one stop, but most certainly in a two. It's a two-stop race all day long, as most of the GR3 races are. They're one-stroke two-stop races, which is what you want. You don't want to be stopping 18 times, unless of course your name's Gary. Then you stop all the time. That's why Gary's not here tonight, because he had to stop in his road car for petrol, because he only got petrol this morning. Back on the sparkling water. It's not the nicest of things, but it's good for you apparently. Apparently so. Right, there is your race leader from High Prix, but the Roses. He is the G-Max Special 5 stops. No, I don't get it, Paul. I don't understand what he's thinking. Look, I know your car's going to be lighter and it's going to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more nimble. But he did this as well at Road Atlanta. He, we're talking about, we might as well go on to him. Where is he? He's 8th place, 9th place, 10th place. There he is, 9th place. He, the most fuel he had in the car at any one stage is when he started with half a tank. And he went in, I think he did 3 or 4 stops at Grand Valley. And look, he didn't finish way down the bottom, but he didn't challenge for the top 3, as his pace would suggest that he should. And every time he pit, he put in a similar amount under half a tank of fuel. Now the thing is, those soft tyres are lasting longer than a half a tank, easily lasting longer. So for me, why would you not fuel it to go as long as you possibly can with the tyres you have, or even do like some drivers have done, which is fill the tank to the brim, fill it to the brim, and then you know that your next stop's going to be shorter because you don't need as much fuel. Yeah, I mean, the speed of the refuel rate either way, it doesn't make sense, because if you're going to have to stop 2 or 3 times more than everybody else, even if you have to stop 1 time more than everybody else, you've got 20 seconds lost time just going in and out of the pits. Usually as a minimum 20 seconds just going in and out of the pits. And then obviously you've got to get back up to speed, and you've got to get the heat into your tyres and all those other kind of factors, and get your rhythm back again. So unless he needs to wee a lot, and his wee go, and he goes wide, and then not wide. So was that a reset to track, or was that a code issue? Probably a code issue, to be fair. Reset to track is a little bit smoother than that. That looked like a code issue to me. Who knows? Maybe he needs to wee every sort of 10 minutes. So he only puts a little bit of fuel in so he can jump in the pits, run off with a quick wee and come back again. Who knows? There is your race leader though, 8.6 seconds clear. Very, very dominant that GTR. Someone's been practicing. He is 8.7 seconds clear. Is Roses ahead of Paz Kozas. Paz Kozas is running very, very nicely. I thought Roses had gone off the track then, but he was just going using all the road, as they say. Paz Kozas is 1.2 seconds clear of his compatriots, Monkey Man Macho, who would probably be a lot closer to Roses had he not decided to crash his car in the first inning. It's very laggy. Shaky, 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 my friend. Shaky, shaky. Have you borrowed Kevin's internet? Only joking, Kevin. Please don't start a war. 2.5 seconds is the gap back to Avalon. Starting to find that form again in this Porsche. Although to be fair, the Porsche, but I'm not. I say to be fair, like I'm suggesting Avalon's normally shit. No, the Porsche is performing very well in the hands of Paz Kozas as well. So clearly this track is quite suited to the Porsche 911. Although to be fair, I think I've had my best Lago Maggiore race in this particular car, though it was some time ago, not quite so soon. So Avalon in the pits relatively quickly, but his strategy was to get rid of those ropey medium tyres. Not ropey because he wore them out, ropey just because they're not as grippy. So Shady up to 4th, Pleasure Craft up to 5th. He's still got Wiggy for company. Wiggy seems quite content just to sit in behind there, just to save some fuel, save some tyres, not worry too much, just keeping in that outside that top 5, getting ready to pounce later. Armin up to 7th in the 650S. He's 1.8 clear of Wendigo. That's when Wendigo came back out when he did, with not enough fuel, almost not enough fuel to make it to the next lap, let alone deeper into this race. I can only posit that there is some deeper meaning, deeper strategy that I'm not seeing, because there's no doubt that Wendigo's a good driver. In fact, you know, he's a top driver, Wendigo. He wins races, he wins championships, and he puts in very, very solid quick lap times. So without any question, he's you know, with Monkey Man has bent it into the pits, with Monkey Man, with Roses, with Stormfly, with even, you know, Wiggy as well. These guys are so capable of winning races and winning championships, and any one of those can challenge for this GR4 title. Sorry, GR3 title. Also for the GR4 title, and also, Wendigo loses the back end. Sorry, my friend.
You can't park that there, mate.
No, you can't. Get it back on track. The other championship we've obviously got going on is the manufacturers, which is joined between the GR3 and the GR4, and full results announcement. Now we have done 3 races, and we can start to get a really, really good picture of how that is working. Full results for that manufacturers series will be released this weekend, as it currently stands, of course, plus along with the announcement of the prizes for that particular portion of the series. It is a kind of I say standalone. It's not a standalone series because you can't do it unless you're racing in both the GR3 and the GR4. Call it a loyalty bonus series. So rather than give you 50 points just for rocking up, we give you additional championships for rocking up. How about that then? 3 league tables instead of 2. Who complain about that? So Avalon back out of the pits. He comes out in 9th place ahead of Bandit, who's going in reverse. And that was not a replay, my friends. That was Bandit going in reverse because he's left all over the racetrack.
You can't park that there, mate.
No, you can't. So pit window open, more cars jumping in. Let's have a look and see what people are doing. Right, so by the Roses, there is leads the way now. 12.7. No, 12.9. No, 13 seconds clear. Look at those tyres though. Looking ropey. Gonna need to get rid of those relatively soon. Does still need to run, of course, medium or hard tyres. I can't imagine anyone wanting to use the hard tyres unless they really had to. So I'm sure it will be medium tyres for him. Juicy. Paz Kozas running in second. He's on those medium tyres, which means he can run deeper, harder and longer into this race. But it's not all plain sailing. I was going to say it isn't plain sailing because Monkey Man Macho wanted to have some, but what he actually wanted to have was some tyres and some fuel. He wasn't having some overtaking action because he's into the pits. That promotes Wiggy up to 4th position, 17.2 seconds back. At least he was when Monkey Man Macho went into the pits. He's now 18 seconds behind Pad Kozas as he comes through into the top 3. Arminis comes through as well. He's up into 4th. Interestingly, Wiggy has been very conservative on tyres, very conservative on fuel, and this is where he's at now. He's up into that top 3. He will have to stop again, but only one more time, and he will only need to put on the soft compound tyre. Interesting tactics from Wiggy. Paz Kozas, he's probably got another 4 or 5 laps before he needs to think about fueling. He, I think, is on a very similar strategy to Wiggy. In terms of lap times, settled into a nice rhythm of 24s, not too dissimilar to the pace of Wiggy, who is 17 seconds behind. The problem, of course, is 17 seconds is a gap you can't really close if you're lapping at similar lap times. As Rose is from the lead into the pits for what will probably be the last time, if he comes out of the mediums, of course. Arminis is in 4th position. He is currently 5.4 seconds behind Wiggy, 8.6 ahead of Wendigo, and probably about 3 laps from his own pit window. Wendigo is going to come in again now. This will be his third pit stop. Everybody else doing their second and possibly last. This is his third. What's he going to do? Now listen, if he fuels the tank to the brim and puts on the medium compound tyres, he doesn't need to stop again from this point. He can run to the end of this race with a full tank and medium compound tyres. Does he choose to do that? That's the big hunker burning question. Does he be putting a bit more fuel in this time, or has his impatience got the better of him? His impatience has got the better of him, and he's back out again. He's on soft tyres. Well, because he come back out on soft tyres, he has to go back in and put on the medium compound tyre. He's in 9th, and he is 16.1 seconds behind the man named after my penis in the gold Mustang. There's Slim Shady. He's the real Shady. All the other Slim Shadys are just imitating. He's in 7th. He's 1.5 seconds behind his compatriot Monkey Man Macho, 2.3 ahead of Pleasurecraft. As Wiggy finally into the pits, and Paz Kozas takes the lead of this race, ahead of Roses by 11.6 of your English seconds. And he is 11.1 ahead of Arminis, who is running now in 3rd. Pitting, as we said, probably around like 27, 28. You could possibly go to 29. Unnecessary though, really, I think. Avalon up to 4th. He's got a nice little long run ahead of him now on those soft compound tyres with some decent fuel on board. That should take him to his final pit stop, so he's going to make this a 3-stop race. Monkey Man Macho looking so racy early on, and then had that little wobble, and it's been difficult for him to find any level of consistent recovery since then. And where he's kind of dropped down, Paz Kozas has picked up the wow, that was so close to Bandit getting rear-ended by Monkey Man Macho at the moment. Is less concerned with catching Avalon than he is with stopping Shady from catching him. Shady looking good in that 911, and Monkey Man Macho just in these this sort of second half of the race seems to really be struggling in that Jaguar. Holding on though, holding on, just like a monkey would. There is your race leader, and it is the first time somebody else has led this race since Bite the Roses regained it in the first stint here. And it's Paz Kozas leading the way. He's 9.3 seconds clear. He does, of course, need to stop again. That's never in doubt. We know that. Bite the Roses. Don't think. I'm not entirely sure he can run to the end here. In fact, we know he can't, because he still needs to run the medium compound tyre. I think he's on soft, which is what happened when I was with your mum. Ominous in... and that wasn't aimed at anyone in particular. That was just a very crass your mum joke for a Wednesday evening. Arminis is 15.5 seconds back, holding on in third. He's going to round this corner. He's going to piss off into the pits right now. In he goes. Silla. This will be his last stop of this race. Avalon, there he is. He is up to third. Will be a brief thing. Can't make the end of this race on those. Well, with that fuel anyway. Excuse me. Tyres certainly will make him last, but no, he's not going to make it on that fuel as it is. Pleasurecraft up to fourth as we can watch behind Monkey Man Macho making moves. Certainly having a go at Shady. As you can see there, Wiggy in the background. But Monkey Man Macho is really, really on fire here, trying to find a way through. I'm sorry I can't do it with the keys. The keyboard's not giving me all of my action controls. I think it's to do with the lobby reset actually. That could have been the problem. Because I haven't experienced it before with the lobby, so it must have been from the lobby reset. All your fault, Wiggy, for quitting. I'm joking. So Shady holding on, keeping Monkey Man at bay. Can Monkey Man put some pressure on Shady? Can he force an error? Can he find a way through? Can he get any more performance out of that Jaguar? And well, if you want to know why I say Jaguar, it's because I fucking want to. And that, my friends, is that. There's no other reasoning behind it. So here we go, last couple of corners here. He's a little bit close to Shady now. Can he get a good run here out of the final corner into turn one? Gets a bit squirrely. Just getting back on the power, the back end of that Jaguar getting really, really wobbly. And Star Groot now much closer than he was previously. And again, Monkey Man Macho's issue is not who's ahead, but who's behind. Talking to behind, there's Wendigo, and he's going to have to pit yet again in this race. 20 minutes left, 40 minutes in, 20 minutes to go, and he's got to pit again because he's not got enough fuel in that car to take him to the end of this race, and that will make it 4 stops for Wendigo, which is Gary Mack proportions of stoppage. Arminis running in 9th. He could and probably should run to the end of this race. Brand new tyres, brand new fuel, plenty of it. Can gain a couple of positions. We know Wendigo's definitely got to pit. We know Wiggy possibly might have to pit. Fuel wise, I'm not entirely sure, so he might have to, as he makes his way around Monkey Man Macho and now tries to put the moves on Shady. Can he find a way in that BMW to pull this move on Shady as they come to the end of lap 29 here at Lago Maggiore West? Reverse. As they come out of the last bend, it is a 3-way battle coming down the line. Shady from Wiggy, from Monkey Man Macho Man, heading down towards turn 1. Shady holding on. Very, very good effort from Shady, and certainly seems to be very, very clever with his racecraft, finding a way to hold them off as Wiggy tries to throw that BMW round the outside, tries to find see if he can nick that inside line for the next corner. Doesn't happen. Shady's putting that Porsche in all the right places as Wiggy comes round again, tucked in so close behind that 911, but can't find enough just to get him past, to get him through, get him out and off up the road, away from Monkey Man Macho, who wants to get involved there too. Running in, there's one thing from running behind another car and getting slipstream, but running in the dirty air for such a long time, very difficult. Slipstream does have some effect here, but not huge amounts, because the one really big stroke, which is that one they've just been on, you're uphill, so you're losing pace going uphill as it is. So it's not quite as easy. Monkey Man Macho dives, almost takes 2 places, but makes the dive up the inside of Wiggy, and Wiggy trying to make the move on Shady, and it doesn't happen. Monkey Man Macho, he goes through up into 5th. Shady drops to 6th, and Wiggy, despite all of his effort, can't find a way through, and the man that does is Monkey Man Macho. Now this is his opportunity. Can he build a gap? Can he close down on that top 4? And this is your top 4. But the Roses leads the way. We'll have to stop one more time before the end of this race. So my pit window is open because it's closed at the moment. Well, it's open, but you know what I mean. Avalon, he will have to stop again. He's running in second. He's 26 seconds behind Roses. Now, Paz Kozas can run to the end of this race. He's 35 seconds off the leader, 8.6 behind Avalon, but doesn't have to pit again. I've got to tell you, there's a really, really good chance that Paz Kozas can steal this victory from under the very nose of Roses. He's looking super, super quick. He makes his way around Bandit, dispatches that back marker relatively easily, and we move on, of course. So, Roses from Avalon from Paz Kozas, they're your top three. But interestingly, with Roses and Avalon needing to pit, this could really play into Paz Kozas' favour. His fastest lap, though, he needs to be aware that his fastest lap is only. He just did a 4. That 45 one. That was an out lap. So won't count that. But he was doing 24s and 25s, but they were on medium tyres. So Monkey Man Macho, he's on those medium tyres, running to the end of this race. Top three's not out of the question for this man here. He's done a sterling job. He finally got around Stargroup and Shady, and the Wiggy has found his way. Finally found a route around Shady and up into 5th. But it took a while, and that while allowed Monkey Man Macho to open up his little gap of 2.5 seconds. Can he maintain it? Bearing in mind the Wiggy's running on the softs, Monkey Man Macho on those hards. But there is a question mark. Well, there's no question mark. Wiggy's not making it to the end without another pit stop. But neither is Shady. So there's still a race on for those two. Wendigo, he's going to have to pit again. That's going to probably be this lap. Hopefully, he puts enough fuel on to take him to the end of this race from this there point. Okay, so here we go. The final stops are happening. Avalon coming in. Roses staying out for one more lap, maybe. Paz Kozas up into second. The gap is still 35.8 seconds to the leader, but now he's only 35 seconds back from second position. How long does Roses spend in the pits in this next stop? You've got to consider Paz Kozas does not need to stop again. Monkey Man Macho, 45 seconds back, does not need to stop again. Wiggy does. Avalon has now had his final stop. He's back out in 5th, ahead of Arminis, 1.2 seconds. If he can get that Porsche up to speed quickly, he could potentially knock on the door of a top 3 here. Through 13.5 seconds to Wiggy, but Wiggy's got to pit. And in goes Bright the Roses. Where is Paz Kozas? Now he's coming into Sector 3 as we speak. It looks like the gap might be a little bit too big, but he is in a pretty racy part of this racetrack. So he's got a couple of more corners to navigate as Roses just pulls into the pits. Tyres getting changed out. Where's Paz Kozas now? He's coming into the final 2 corners. That's the penultimate corner. One more corner to go, and then he is on that power. Here he goes. He's going to pass the pit wall. Where's Roses? There's Roses just coming out of the pits. He does maintain the lead of this race from Paz Kozas, but here's the kicker. He's got to run the medium tyres now to the end of this race. He's 6.2 seconds clear of Paz Kozas, who's going to race to the end on racing soft tyres. Pace is going to be absolute paramount. Pace and consistency from this point will decide which of these two wins this race here at Lago Maggiore. And it's Monkey Man Macho. He's back inside that top 3. He's got enough tyre and fuel to take him to the end of this race. You can't have a look at it anymore. None of your beeswax. Problem is behind him he's got a really, really quick Wiggy, who does need to stop again, but it will scupper any chance of moving further forward if what you're doing is battling the guy behind you. Now Wiggy will try and make a move. He wants top 3. Do you know what? I say Wiggy's not going to make it to the end. I think he's going to fucking try, because his tyres actually might make it with a bit of conservation. I think fuel is going to be dodge. I just can't see it happening with that fuel. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gives it a damn good British try, although he's Welsh. But we don't hold it against him. He prefers people just in wool to do that. Bumshanka, 14.4 seconds to get back to Avalon. He could potentially be nicking top 4 here because we know that Wiggy, just 14.2 seconds ahead, is likely going to have to stop again. But his concern at the moment is this battle here with Arminis. Arminis in that McLaren 650S. He's only 6/10 behind the 911 of Avalon and closing. Can he close enough to make a move on this, which is lap 35? If you are just joining us, which you may or may not be doing, on this bloody freezing Wednesday evening. And now, if you're from the UK, you're feeling this. It's fucking May, and it is freezing, or near, right, it's not quite May, it's nearly May, and it's freezing. The temperature was just starting to go up, and I'm genuinely contemplating whacking the thermostat up and putting the heating on for a bit, because it's cold. And that's shocking, really, in this weather. So stop talking about global warming, because it's not getting fucking warmer, it's getting colder, you big bunch of pellets. No, I'm only joking. I'm not for one second assuming that there's no such thing as climate change. Climate change is happening. What I will tell you is that there is an agenda involved, and it's less about the planet and more about how rich can I get in a very short space of time before they realise that when I told them the oceans were going to kill everybody in 10 years, that's not actually going to happen. Moving swiftly on. This shouldn't be a racing TV channel. This should just be a political forum for me to shout about government stuff. Okay, 4.9 seconds is the gap. Paz Kozas is closing. Last lap for By the Way is a 1:22.8 as he comes up behind Bandit as a back marker. Paz Kozas with a 1:22.4. He's been quite consistently in that 22.4, 22.4, 22.4, 22.6 last 3 laps for him. Macho Man is a 23.4. Briggy has been in the pits and he's come out behind Avalon. But fresh, lovely fresh crepes or tyres, depending on how you want to look at it. So here he goes. He's got his new sneakers on and he's off after Avalon for a place in the top 5. Where have we not looked for a while? This food while he's in the pits. It looked like he was having some sort of technical issues early doors, and he has dived into the pits since. There is Bandit. He's running in 10th position. He's got the hazard lights on again. Why has he got hazard lights on? I would hazard a guess that is auto drive. Maybe not. I don't know. Wendigo. Strategy just not been his friend today. I don't know. It's almost like I don't know. I can't explain it. So I realise I keep moving away from the mic. I can't explain it. It's a really odd strategy to fill up so little and need to pit as much. If he followed the same sort of pit strategy that Roses, Pascozas, Monkey Man, Macho, those guys out in front have done, he'd be in the top 3. There's no doubt in my mind he'd be in the top 3. But he's opted to, in this GR3 tournament, he's opted to go for this kind of odd run a really light car strategy, and it's not working out. So before all is lost, maybe time to rethink the old strat, my friend. All the other shadies are just imitating, and he's about to stand up and get past Pleasurecraft. Up the hill they go. He's tucked in nicely behind. Is this move on? Could potentially under braking if he's brave. How brave is he? Not brave enough. He's on the soft compound tyres, Pleasurecraft on the mediums. He's going to make short work of him surely very soon. He's surely going to be able to hang something around the outside even. Make a little dive into the final couple of corners. No, he hangs on. He's going to be tucked in nicely behind him when they come round this final bend to start lap 38. That's a great run out in that Porsche. And here he goes to make that move on Pleasurecraft. And the last time I remember being here, do you remember when we saw Paul coming down that in this opposite direction and going into the pits and putting on intermediate tyres? That was funny, wasn't it? Anyway, Shady does make the move on Pleasurecraft, although Pleasurecraft didn't give it up too easy, was hanging on for dear life. The gap's not closed enough. 22.9 for Paz Kozas. He's now got a half-second penalty, and despite being on the medium compound tyres, it's a 22.8 for Bite the Roses, doing at the moment just enough to stay ahead, and with just probably about what are we looking at, 4 laps remaining. I think he's done enough to take the big points today. Bite the Roses 4.2 seconds, 4.3 seconds clear of Paz Kozas, who absolutely thoroughly deserves, to be fair, deserves a win, but certainly deserves a top 3 today without question. Being phenomenally good, very solid, capitalised on his compatriot messing up, and just kept it on the road, and yeah, did exactly what he needed to do. Monkey Man Macho is going to have ropey tyres for the last couple of laps. He's going to be feeling those the effects of less grip. Not going to catch Paz Kozas now, 20.9 seconds. But I think it's a tall order for Arminis to catch him from 4th place. And interestingly, it is a Brit, Bite the Roses, in the lead of this race. Then we've got Lithuanian. I thought for a second there we saw a stricken car, but it was just the camera view. Can Avalon, the Serbian German in Spain, can he upset the Lithuanian party by splitting Monkey Man Macho and Arminis with a very well placed Porsche 911? He's 1.3 seconds behind Arminis. He's got the fuel, he's got the tyres. They're both on softs, although Arminis a little bit worse for wear tyre wise. There's Wiggy. Wiggy can push now. He's got a lot of pushing to do to get in that top 5. 14.9 seconds worth of it in just a couple of laps. I think he's going to need Avalon to break that push on Arminis and take the pair of them out to give Wiggy any improvement on that 6th place today. He is 2.7 ahead of Shady, who is he's running well in 7th. Doing a sterling job with that 911. 1.6 ahead of the man named after my penis. And they gave it 2 T's because, yeah. Don't know what the fuck that was supposed to be. I thought I was coming up with something really smart and witty, and then my brains went, don't say it, it's not funny. But I said anyway. He's 12.4 seconds ahead of Wendigo, who's not having a good day today. Bendit in 10th position, just being lapped again by, excuse me, Monkey Man Macho. Then Fubar, some sort of issues early doors, and he's in the pits and not completing this race anytime soon. Fastest lap is with this man here, TTV Bite the Roses, and TTV stands for Transvestite Television. It's his favourite channel, and it's all about change. And again, if anyone's offended by what I say, it's not meant to offend, it's meant to be funny. Don't be a dick. And don't send me stupid messages, because I will just tell you to fuck off. And then rip you a new one on the next broadcast, which I've done to 2 people who sent me shitty messages previously. One a god-bothering wank puffing, and the other just complaining about my swearing. And I basically replied with a fuckity fuck. Paz Kozas 3.2 seconds back. Yellow flag is for whom? I'm assuming it's one of the backer markers. Well, not at the moment. No one seems to be crashed anymore, so who knows? Gap down to 2.7 seconds as Paz Kozas pushes towards the tail end of this race now. 2 laps remaining for these guys. Lap 42 is the first one of those. Lap 43 will be the final lap 2.3 seconds separates Paz Kozas and Bite the Roses. I can tell you though, looking at the tyres and the fuel, one's on softs, one's on mediums, one has got lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of rubber. The other one is begging you, put some rubber down now, baby. I don't even know if that's like the begging you. I always used to think it was always Peggy Sue. It's obviously not, of course. Right, Armin is just outside that top three. Behind Monkey Man Macho, and he's at 6.6 ahead of Harmonist. But Harmonist he's not far outside the top three. Again, Harmonist is showing some really solid performances in this GR3 at the moment. Although, if you do that, Avalon's going to come through. Commentator's curse strikes again. Success. It is basically my aim to kill one person at a race for the rest of my life. I'm really sorry. Man. Oh well, it sucks. Star Group Wiggy there is 10.4 seconds behind Harmonist. Can we will him into a crash? Don't crash. Of course, don't really want that to happen to anybody. Shady is at 4.4 seconds back. 3.7 to Pleasure Craft. 13.4 to Wendigo. Wendigo, he went this morning. This bandit, he's on lap 33. Everybody else is on lap 42. So Monkey Man Macho finishes in third, doesn't get that extra lap. Avalon will come home in fourth, gifted that position by Arminis, who's fifth. Wiggy is going to come home in sixth position, 8.7 seconds in that BMW behind Arminis. There comes Shady. All the other Shadies are just imitating, and here comes my big gold winkle. I suppose calling it a winkle doesn't really go with the word big. That is Wendigo. Again, tactics wrong today. Fast guy. Tactics just not on point at the moment. But here is your winner. Rounds the final corner in that GTR. Just enough power to make it home. 2.1 seconds is the gap. Bite the Roses takes the win. Paz Kozas comes home in second. I say comfortably in second. It was comfortably in second because he was a complete lap ahead of everybody else. So there we have it. Another awesome race from GR3. It is so fucking good to be back. Had a bit of time off from doing this just because other shit's been going on. So glad to be back and in amongst this, particularly because we've got so much shit going on at the weekend. I literally cannot fucking wait. It's going to be awesome. So let's bring up the final results, shall we? Boom Shankar from the United Kingdom, Bite the Roses in the GTR wins with the fastest lap. That's 121.986. Paz Kozas with a wonderful finish in that 911 from Lithuania. Comes home in second. Monkey Man Macho recovers from his little wobbly. Doesn't get back into second, but does get another top three, and this should just edge him at the top of the championship. He's in that F-Type, of course, from Lithuania. Avalon gifted by an Arminis cock-up in the 911. He comes home in fourth. Arminis in the 650S GT3 after that cock-up, dropping to fifth place on that final lap. Wiggy from Wales in the M6 BMW. BMW stands for bought my car in Wales. In the GT3 Sprint M6. Came home in 6th. 911 for Shady in 7th. The Mustang for Pleasure Craft in 8th position. Should probably screenshot that like so. And then Wendigo was in 9th in the Lamborghini Huracan. Bandit in the M6 as well. He came home in 10th, and Fubar, some sort of issue going on for Fubar because he was 32 laps back, also in that Huracan. There we have it. Done. Pit window is not open. Don't talk soft, you wank puffin. Right, there we go. This has been the Open GR3 season number 3, race number 3 at Lago Maggiore West, reverse. So next week, where are we at? Happy people. Of course, GR3 and GR4 racing at the same circuits for this season. And stop the press. We are in Belgium for some racing around the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. I fucking love it. Let's see some people wiping out on the Kemmel Straight, or running out of fuel rouge. How good will that be? We're back. That'll be Wednesday, the 3rd of May. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you very much for joining me. I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with the Open GR3, and it's yeah, you're right. It's been emotional.